thanks for coming, guys, and thanks for having me here. And first of all, could you just give us a brief introduction of who you are and what you do at Hardlight?
Sure, I'll go first.
Yeah, go.
I'm Andrew. I'm producer at Hardlight. So I'm currently working on Sonic Forces Speed Battle.
I'm Steph, and I'm Games Master at Hardlight.
And that's your official title, yeah?
Yes,
That's
Games
awesome.
Master. So I work in live ops.
Yeah.
So that's working with the players. My brain's gone blank, sorry. So that's things like creating store bundles and that kind of thing, working with customers.
Awesome.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nick, and I'm a designer here at Hardlight, and I've been working all the way through Sonic Forces Speed Battle.
Sweet, fantastic. So obviously we're here to celebrate the launch of Sonic Forces Speed Battle on iOS and Android, and the game clearly has a similar look and feel to Sonic Dash. Was there a reason why it wasn't branded under the now established Sonic Dash brand, like Sonic Dash 2 Sonic Boom was?
Yeah, so the main reason is because it's in partnership with Forces. So the game, although they're both made for the platforms they're on, so with Forces you've obviously got these lavish environments and it's console quality, whereas on mobile it's more we did a runner game because that's the mechanic that we've used to developing, and it's optimized for that, so it's a multiplayer competitive experience, but they share the same universe. We've got some of the same characters, and we've got plans for more characters, similar environments. So the main aim of the game was to be in partnership with the Forces brand.
Yeah, and obviously you just mentioned the biggest differences from a gameplay perspective is that Sonic Forces Speed Battle is online only multiplayer. Rather than uploading scores, you actually compete directly with other gamers. Where did the idea for the competition-based gameplay come from?
We were looking for something new to do, working with Sonic Team. We considered a number of ideas, and this was the one that everybody was most keen on, really. I mean, I remember the initial meeting, we were sat in here, and I think the conversation was, so if we took Dash and put a finishing line on it and had 4 players online, could we do that? And I remember the 2 lead engineers were in here at the time, and I wasn't kind of sure what they were going to say, and the response was, well, there'll be some design limitations you're going to have to work through, but yeah, I think we can do that. And kind of the rest is history, really, from that point onwards.
Awesome. At what point did you begin the sort of process of making it into a Sonic Forces game, where, like, in regards to when Sonic Forces, the console version, was being made?
We started about a year and a half ago initially.
Okay.
So I mean, it was kind of shortly after that. It was roughly the same time when the console version was being developed as well. Maybe we came on maybe slightly later. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, we kind of jumped on a prototype. It was just like, maybe sort of 4 or 5 people on a small team, and we spent a few weeks just proving out the technology, really, and pretty much straight away, we found that bit of magic in there, really, and we were like, yeah, this really works, and so that became kind of the basis for the game, really, and everything else was sort of just built on that.
Cool. So was it always, like, when you first initially came up with the idea, was it always going to be, we're going to try and tie this with Sonic Forces, or did it just happen to be a happy coincidence almost?
I think that was always the plan.
Yeah.
Obviously we don't make the decisions as to what the studio makes, games wise, but we have certain strengths from our developers, and we've got a lot of experience with the Dash titles and with the runners, so I think it was always the plan from the beginning.
And obviously the game is no longer an endless runner. I assume that change happened because of the multiplayer aspect. I mean, what decision came first?
Yeah, the two were hand in hand, really. I mean, it was the natural way to do it. I mean, that was we've obviously made Dash, we made Dash 2, and it's kind of a natural evolution. Devices and technology and connection speeds are at the point now where this is achievable. PvP games are becoming much more popular now, so it seemed like a really natural fit for us, really.
Yeah. And was there ever like a plan to have a single player mode, like one where you, unlike Dash, which is endless runner, but have it like a goal? If that makes sense?
No, it was always the plan just to go multiplayer. I mean, PvP is the essence of the game experience, really, and you need a winner, really, for the game to work. So we wanted short sessions, short battles, but somebody wins pretty quickly and you move on, do the next one, really.
It's that competitive the edge as well, because when you're playing versus, like, we've got bots in the game for people that are just starting out right at the beginning of 2, just to make sure that they're, racing against somebody. If there's any connection issues, you might, that might happen. But as soon as you start playing other players, it just adds that edge that just makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Cool. And was there anything you took from developing the first 2 Sonic Dash titles that you brought over to Sonic Speed Battle? And just as importantly, was there anything you decided to leave out from them?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously the studio's got a lot of experience doing these kind of games now, so there was a lot of know-how, a lot of technical experience. There was just a lot of things we could build on. So in terms of making a good, fun, playable sort of into the screen runner, we knew what we were doing. I don't know really in terms of what we wouldn't do.
I mean, obviously, like Nick was saying, there's a lot of mechanics in there that we've used and experience has come across.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything. I mean, when you look at Dash as a game, it's very single player, and then Sonic Dash 2 or Sonic 2 Boom was, you got the leaderboard aspect, and there was a little bit more multiplayer in there without the actual player versus player mechanics. So really, it's just kind of a natural evolution to then all of a sudden, like Nick was saying, with the technology that we have available to us now, you can now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
default
just building on things we've learned as well. I mean, one example is the track editor that we use to make the tracks as well. I mean, based on previous experiences, this time around we wanted something that was really powerful, really flexible, something that we could just get tracks up and running on really quickly. And we've got a great tool set here that we can use now. So that's something that we built on from before.
Ooh, awesome. Your earlier Sonic mobile titles, like Sonic Jump, the original Sonic Dash, and Sonic Jump Fever, they were kind of very much standalone games in a way, but Sonic Dash 2, Sonic Boom, and now Sonic Forces Speed Battle are tied in with a console counterpart. Is this a future trend we might see in more of the Sonic mobile games, that they'll be tied more towards the console or other system versions?
The studio are pretty open to kind of any idea really. So we're never really sure. Obviously, it's not our decision to make, like I said to you earlier. But at the same time, we seem to go down a very intelligent route about the kinds of games that we want to make and the kinds of tie-ins that we want to do. So there's every chance that would happen. I don't think it's the plan as such, but it could. Yeah, it could be the case.
Awesome. That's cool. And as it's a multiplayer game now, there's going to be a big change in how the studio sort of handles feedback, I guess. Have there been any big changes you've had to make within the team or at all to sort of handle, I guess, how people are playing the game or any feedback you might get from the game at all?
I think this is probably one for you, Steph, actually, isn't it? Because obviously initial development is the same kind of thing, but launching a game, that's just the start now. So actually, I'm going to let you talk.
Okay. Well, we do a lot of playtesting in studio together. Like, we have playtest days, don't we? And also it's kind of the finding out what the players like and getting data from that, analysing which character they like playing the most and things like that. And then in further patches we sort of iterate on that design, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of a feedback loop, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We get analytics coming through. We our own feelings when we play the game, and we get community feedback as well. So it's a question of sort of gauging all of that and figuring out sort of how to move forward, really.
How much influence does, like, say, community feedback actually have within how the game develops forward? Do you have any ideas that someone might suggest, sort of, you think you actually might incorporate that in the game? Or
definitely, yeah. We've already had a few, like some of the top end players that are kind of hitting the tops of the leaderboards and stuff. They're noticing bugs that we might not have seen because we don't have the hours and hours of gameplay that you collect from so many players playing at once. That's one of the things that's quite exciting about this game. It's a really strong community. So those guys are they created their own Discord channel, and now we've got our official one where they're all in and they're all talking and they're all throwing bugs in and suggestions for new things. And we've had a couple of bugs that have been fixed due to community only people that have just said, oh, by the way, that we spotted this, and we've gone, yep, okay, that'll go for the next one, and that got fixed. So
so you're constantly chatting with the players in the community and stuff. And,
I mean, you're really engaged with them, Steph.
We're keeping an eye on the Discord channel, seeing what feedback they bring forth. And I think I was saying to you earlier, I'm sit quite close to QA, so every time there's a bug on there, I'm like, guys, have you seen this?
Mhm.
If they haven't, we get it sorted out. So
Yeah, and the Sonic community is huge, so it's great to be part of that and to see the excitement for the game.
Yeah.
It's
You
awesome.
know, for,
Yeah.
for us, we just want to make a game that players like. That's that's why we're all here, really.
Yeah.
And so if we're getting feedback from our players that the game could be better in this way, or that there's an issue here, then of course we're gonna listen to that and do what we can to address it.
yeah, definitely.
And this could be quite an awkward one, but it's something that one of our team actually brought up, that they've noticed that a lot of mobile development companies, and Hardlight included, they seem to do sort of soft launches or beta testing, but normally outside of America or outside of Europe. Is there like a reason why that might happen? She actually mentioned that when Sonic Forces Speed Battle first came out, it actually came out in small pockets of countries.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for mobile development. The
Mm.
reason you do that is because it's a small. A lot of the mobile game studios will use the same countries for soft launch for that very reason. So they're a smaller audience, so you can test the game and make sure that it's running properly and everything works. And then you will add further territories just to ensure that your infrastructure is built slowly, rather than if you were to just release and get 10 million players in the first couple of weeks, you might find that your back end or your infrastructure falls over quite quickly. So it's a pretty standard mobile development thing. You wouldn't ever want to go soft launching somewhere really big for that reason. It's small, it's controlled, and it's spread slowly out. So.
On that note, have you ever had a soft launch where it's been well received in a smaller country than, say, a bigger region like Europe or America? The reception's been more negative or just very different, not so negative, but very different to the soft launch, which might have made you change any plans or just adapt the game at all?
I don't think so.
No.
Soft launch, in one area tends to be indicative of other places. You don't generally get massive sort of regional, territorial differences. Not that we found particularly.
No, it's just percentage-wise. You're just looking at a smaller audience,
Mm.
and you would see the same trends from the small audience in the larger audience, just wider.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, certainly not from a Hardlight's perspective. I don't
No.
think they've ever seen any kind of issues like that. So.
And what's it like for you guys, like working on one of the most iconic characters in the gaming world, and also the fact that it's Sega's flagship brand, if you will? Has there been any difficulty involving such a big character, or is there any pressure from like Sega Japan or from the community in making sure that the game is right?
I think Sega's really supportive. Really, I mean, it's a massive privilege to be able to work on
Yeah.
a game like this. I don't think that's lost on anyone that works here. It's very cool.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, there is a certain responsibility. You want to do it well. We're lucky. We've been working with Sonic Team on this as well. So we've been working with Azuka-san as well. So he gives us lots of direction and lots of feedback, which is super helpful for us because it means that we can really fine tune the game to be where it should be.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Hardlight's got a really good background in Sonic games anyway, so there's a lot of trust there because we have a history, we have a success history. So it's but like Nick was saying, it's super exciting.
It is, yeah.
Working on a title that a Sonic title.
Yeah.
It's just for anybody, but we're all massive fans as well, so we
Yeah.
wouldn't want to do it badly or wrong or steer it in the wrong direction. So yeah, we're very careful as well,
Yeah.
as much as we can be.
Awesome. And you've actually sort of touched on this a little bit, that it's kind of been well documented in the past that Sega Japan and Sonic Team in particular they can be strict on how Sonic is handled. I mean, you've sort of mentioned that you've sort of been sort of working with them, but how much input have they had in the actual development of what, not just Sonic Forces Speed Battle, but all the other Sonic games? Have they sort of pretty much guided you the whole way in
Well,
how to handle Sonic?
I mean, it kind of comes back to the point I made earlier about Hardlight having such a good background with Sonic titles and mobile games. So in terms of mechanics and the direction of where the game is going from that perspective and the design, with Nick and the designers, that's kind of left to us. But obviously Sonic Team look through all of the artwork, they make sure all the assets are signed off from them. So it's a collaboration. It's not the game's going to look like this and be like this. It's very much, here's the game idea and here's what we're trying to do with it, and then they will then make sure that all the assets are in line and the characters look the right way and the characters play the right way and that kind of thing. So it's a collaborative effort. It's pretty good.
And going forward, do you have any other projects in the pipeline you can talk about? Like, will we see any more Sonic titles in the near future? Or do you have any other plans to work on any other SEGA franchises in the future?
Can't talk about any of that.
I mean, our main focus at the moment really is just sort of supporting the game post-launch really, and just making it as good as we can.
Definitely.
And with the critical success of Sonic Mania recently and the kind of mixed reception for Sonic Forces so far, do you think Hardlight Studios might ever look at doing a sort of more retro style classic Sonic title, sort of similar to Sonic Mania, or maybe like the Christian Whitehead Sonic games on the iOS at all?
Again, it's not really for us to say, is it? I mean, it's
I guess the studio is open to anything really, but
Yeah.
that's probably outside our area. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Question.
from what I've seen, it's really just based on the audience and where we're trying to go with the technology and what's available to us. So
But,
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
to a degree though. I mean, it made sense to do Speed Battle after the success of Dash and Dash 2 as well. I mean, it makes sense to kind of build on what you know and what you're good at. So I guess that's where we are at the moment.
Sure. Okay, so yeah, some community questions that sent to us on Twitter. At Guy with No Min said, did Sonic Team take any inspiration from the level design for Sonic Forces from you guys at Hardlight, like based on Sonic Dash or even Sonic Forces Speed Battle? I think you made a comment earlier that some of the levels, the design and the way it plays actually kind of feels similar, I guess, in a way to like the Sonic Dash titles.
I guess with their forward-running gameplay and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. No, I don't imagine so. Not for us to say, really. I don't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but
Yeah.
not.
At Poe Dulad has said, has there ever been a consideration to removing ads in the game and maybe making it a paid, like a standard paying game, basically?
Hardlight kind of specialise in the free-to-play model, so it would have to be a different title, I think. And again, it comes back to that same response, really, in that we're always open to new thoughts, new ideas, new mechanics, new ways of getting games out on the market. Sonic Forces Speed Battle will always be a free-to-play game.
At Jerry Chew 3 has said, have you ever considered adding characters that are not in Forces, such as Cream, Blaze, or Big the Cat?
Can we talk about that?
Can we talk? I don't think we can we?
No, you'll have to watch this
I would
space.
say watch this space.
Yeah.
Cool. And this is actually quite a jokey one, but it's from our friends at the Dreamcast Junkyard. I don't know if you're familiar with that site.
Yep.
Will there be a VMU port?
Could we even?
How would you do that?
How would you? No.
We can dream. And this is actually from one of the guys on our team. Marcin Gulick says, tell them to wish me a happy birthday on Twitter. Or just wish happy birthday now.
Happy birthday, Martin.
Happy birthday.
Cool. And one very final question. If we were to sneak into your homes right now, boot up your gaming systems, what games would you find in your consoles?
Shadow of War.
This is good.
Yeah.
Ark Survival Evolved.
You're gonna have to skip that one.
Is it too embarrassing, or you've got too many games?
What is the reason for skipping that
No,
one?
there isn't. I just blanked out.
Oh, you're right. Fair enough, yeah. I was thinking, what's he got in his console? What?
Has he got some obscure sort of
No, I'm not playing. I'm not really playing a lot of console at the moment, to be honest. I'm mostly playing mobile. So
That's fair
Fair
enough.
enough.
it's
Just Sonic Sports and
Boring,
Speed Battle. all the way.
Yeah, you should have said that.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything you want to say to the fans out there at all regarding Sonic Forces Speed Battle?
Thank you, you're awesome.
yeah, we just keep playing.
Yeah.
Keep playing, keep feeding back. It's
Keep
brilliant.
giving us bugs. And
Yeah, we love it. We just want to make the game better.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time.
No worries.
Thanks for having me here, and good luck with the game, guys, and cheers.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you.